I am Jeff Luther, and the host of your new favorite podcast, the Inspector Alliance. This is where we'll peel back the curtain and get behind successful service industry businesses to see just what makes them tick. We're going to focus around the home inspection business. That's what I've built. I've owned it for a little over 20 years now. But we'll also include other service businesses that might parallel ours so we can learn more. And the more we know, the better off we are, right? Jason Taylor. Thanks, dude. I know you're busy. Thanks for carving out some time to let me interview you today. Glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, look, dude, before we get started, thank you very much for your service. I work with you, so I can attest to your character. How much of your job performance might be attributed to the military? Would you agree that you got a good base there to be what I would consider absolutely outstanding in operations?
Well, thank you for that. And yeah, I'd probably say like 110% of it.
So just a little bit?
Probably about all of it. Yeah, I joined the Army pretty undeveloped as a person, and they helped point me in the right direction, give me some skill sets, some ways of doing things, and a little bit of personal responsibility that I joined with.
How long were
it's
you
been a big part.
Okay.
10 and a half years.
Well, thank you. Thank you from me. Thank you from my family. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. So in the private sector then, how long have you been in operations in the private sector?
In one form or another, pretty much since I've been out 25 years, except for maybe about a year and a half stint in sales, which, as you can probably guess, didn't go too well.
Okay. Now, I guess that was my next question. I guess you kind of figured it out. Like, did you come out of the military, go directly in operations, or did you have to kind of sort it out? And do you remember if you did figure it out, or you just kind of landed in the right place?
Some of it was being a technician in the Army. So when I got out, that's the place to go make money. And technicians are pretty well paid. So I kind of fell into that. And then I fell into the leadership side of operations, right place at the right time, and a kind of a desire to move up sort of thing.
Yeah, because that's one of your unique abilities for sure, that leadership quality or leadership ability. Would you consider yourself a natural leader? I mean, I know it's a loaded question, but look, I mean, be honest.
So yeah, I guess I have some qualities. Let's say that maybe I have some qualities of leadership that are in me that are, if you have them, it makes it a little bit easier to be trained in it. I received a lot of training in how to do things and how to think things and how to motivate people and kind of conduct yourself. But I think anybody can be trained to be a leader. I think if you have a couple attributes, it makes it a lot easier to get there.
Okay. Yeah. I'm with you there. Well, you've done an outstanding job for us in your leadership role for sure. All right. How long have you been with Home Probe?
Year and a half. Year and a half.
Perfect timing. Yeah. So you get hired in the heyday. It's like a Wolf of Wall Street, and then the market takes a total dump. I mean, what timing, right? So how does that make you feel?
Lucky? No. It's I guess if I'd have started in this market, it probably would have been a lot tougher because you don't see the bright spot. I did get lucky to start when the market was 110 miles an hour and just kind of see the chaos of it and what it could be, or what it, what it could be. And then the decline has been painful. It's been, you kind of feel like you need to be able to do something to change it. And that can be tough, trying to figure that out and trying to make that be something.
Well, you did have some time to kind of get your legs underneath you. Let's see, you started end of June, right? Of 2021. June, July.
Yeah.
What's that?
Middle of June.
Middle of June.
Middle
So
of
you
June,
got
I
your
think.
legs under
Yeah.
you. Then you saw that slow season. So you saw the seasonality. Um, so how did this change in the market? How did it change how you look at your job specifically now? And for our audience, I'll clarify that you are the director of operations. So everything that goes on outside of the door and a lot of what goes on inside, you're responsible for. Do I have? Is that a good enough shot from 10,000 feet? So please, how did that change how you look at your job specifically now?
So I think it's a tough question. I think I came in looking at making order of it, and trying to figure out, we were so busy. So I came in looking at that. The very first slow season really caught me by surprise. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the implication of it. If you remember, I made a couple huge equipment purchases right as we started getting slow, which makes, which is not exactly the way to do it.
So tell me this:
So
when's the best time to have a baby? Right?
I agree. I get you. There is no best time, and that's true. And also, when's the worst time in high school, right? Just no, I'm just joking. But I mean, there may not be a best time, but there are definitely worse times. So, but I just didn't understand that piece of it. So that's probably the thing that I've kind of picked up on the most is the slow season wasn't huge in 21. It was slower than the busy season, but it wasn't huge. And then last year, slow season came 4 months early and was drastic because it was driven by the marketplace. So I think a better understanding of how that works and how to leverage some of that time that you have, pushing your projects, things that aren't as important, trying to get them done in those time, really working on
Yeah.
processes, that sort of thing.
Now, all of your folks, all your inspectors are all salaried, right? And I'm asking that like I don't know the
Correct.
answer, but it's entertainment. It's entertainment, right? Uh,
Yes,
so
sir, they
tell me
are.
this. Now, it seems that you've done a better job than I have in years past. How, in a normal market, let's try to find that first. In a normal market, how are you balancing the seasonality of this business with the inspectors? What do you see as your big obstacle and also your goal?
Yeah, so the big obstacle to me is trying to figure out how to not overwork people in the busy season, but then the company not bear the brunt of trying to be profitable in the slow season, where you have people that you're paying a salary that there's nothing for them to do. Um, and also, one of the great things about working here is we slow down. And so, an inspector, instead of working on his own and having to save money and having to worry about what happens from October to January, that's the great thing about working with us is you have that ability to ride out those months, when it's not as busy. So how do you keep people occupied, busy, where they're making some money, where it's not just completely dead for the company in the slow season, and yet not killing them? I guess it's right sizing headcount's probably a big part of it. Trying to make sure you've got enough people to cover your peaks, and you're not carrying too many people in your valleys. That's
Yeah,
tough.
and I can tell you that it's the salary piece is tough. I don't know any other inspection company
Yeah.
in North America that does salary. They're all piecemeal. They're pay as paid, which is great when times are bad. For the owner, but my position has always been that the inspectors take all of the risk. So I was adverse to that. So I understand. I know that it's tough. Um, which brings me to my next question. I mean, we're slow. Business is really slow. The market is slow. How are you balancing workflow now? Um, are you having issues?
Well, yeah. I mean, especially 2 months ago, I think things have picked up a little bit. 2 months ago, it was a lot tougher as far as balancing workflow. One of the things we did this last year was offer kind of incentivize off-season vacations.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much that helped. It made me feel better about it, but I don't know how much it actually helped. I haven't dug into that. And then as far as the rest of it is, we did some side by sides to try to get more experienced inspectors up with some younger inspectors. So you would, if we didn't have enough inspections in a day, an experienced guy would go out with a younger guy. We were able to take the opportunity and do some extra training with a new guy we had to be able to get him up to speed maybe a little bit quicker than he would have out there on his own. So there's not a lot you can do, but there's little things that you can do to at least not waste the time.
Right. Yeah. And just clarify, in our organization, age is not relative to experience, right? Younger doesn't mean inexperienced, vice versa. I totally
I'm sorry,
get it.
yes. No, not age. Less experienced inspectors next to some more experienced inspectors.
So here's a question that I actually would love to know the answer to, and you may not even know. Are you having any issues with motivation or morale with your folks with the current market conditions? And I don't know the answer.
So I'll say yes. Oh, I think I might. First of all, I think you're always going to have motivational issues in a company structured like us. You have 2/3 of your workforce works individually every day. So the only input they tend to get are team meetings that we do monthly, and then when something bad happens, right? So if you don't have a good process and a good structure, which I don't do great at that, of getting out there, I'm working on that, but getting out there and spending time with them, building up that relationship, it is a little bit harder to motivate somebody in those situations. I know that when we were super slow, like I said, 2 months ago, let's call it, uh, you would have some morale and motivational issues when we had a brief spurt of busy. It's like, what is this? Why me, God? Why do I have to do this? And so, which is understandable and also
It's
human,
it's human. It's human.
but it's a
Yeah.
thing too.
Um,
You know,
okay. All right. This one's interesting. I don't know what the answer would be, but what would you do different if you knew now what you knew a year ago? What different decisions would you make?
wow. So a number of them that are with speed of action. Um, I would have driven towards the team leader structure a lot quicker and towards the manager process improvement position much quicker. Um, I, I would, and it may have only cut 3 or 4 months off, but it might have got us to the beginning of 22, which would have helped us
Yeah.
at the end of 22. So a lot more than it did. So I would have driven that a
Okay.
lot harder.
Yeah. And man, your process improvement and your excellence report is whip ass. It's amazing. But I can't wait to share more on that down the line somewhere. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so now, well, my first question, are you not my first question? My first question relative to what the future holds. Are you having a tough time now finding people? New hires, not like we have lost people in rubble or
Well,
something.
we
But
actually,
new hires, having a tough time finding new hires.
where's Waldo? Yeah. So yes, and probably not as bad as maybe I've done less interviews for more quality this year than I did end of 21, beginning of 22. It took a lot more sorting through wheat and chaff. We actually just made an offer today to a guy, and so but he's actually starting next week. So we're finding quality people, not at the rate that I think 5 years ago was out there. Um, but I think it's a little bit better than the coming right out of COVID. I think we're in a little better shape with that. You're finding more quality candidates now than coming out of COVID.
Okay. That's encouraging to hear. And are you doing anything? Now, you know what my opinion is on this real estate market. I think it's going to snap back, and I think it's going to be fast. I think it's going to be way faster than it dropped off, and it dropped off like overnight. And I think it's going to come back quicker. That doesn't mean that I'm right. That's just what I think. Are you doing anything now? And there's not a right answer. I'm curious, and I know our audience is curious. But are you doing anything right now to prepare for the real estate comeback?
I mean, other than this hire, which if that comeback is in sooner than June, we're probably in a little trouble. Doesn't do us a ton of good. Because it takes some time for somebody to walk in off the streets and get to where they're actually, pulling their weight in it. Just a lot of, I hate to say more brainstorming, just looking at how do we, the same thing I've been trying to figure out since I've been here. How do we even out the peak and valley of busy to slow? Where do we gain some, how do we get more Saturday inspections? How do we get more, you know what I mean? Just what are those things that we can do? But there's nothing implemented right now other than kind of knowing it's coming, uh, get our new guy on board, trying to keep the labor force right size. And we're doing a lot of, I think we've utilized our slow time very well with improvements. Our feedback loop
Oh
has
yeah,
really improved to try to get uh, people, a little more efficient and little fewer mistakes, which then helps us as we
yeah,
move
and
forward.
that goes back again to that process improvement. The feedback loop that you guys have established is, I mean, it's amazing. And if that doesn't give your sales team confidence, then they can't be helped. And that's one of the things
Yeah,
when you're in
thank you.
sales and your product is so personal, home inspection is so personal and so emotional. And when you're in sales, you're on your own little island. And once your confidence gets a little bit shaken on the product that you're selling, I mean, oh my gosh, it is really tough. So if the sales folks don't have confidence in your product,
Yeah, I can't imagine.
so tell me something that you enjoy about your job. Like, what's the funnest piece of your job, or a fun piece of your job?
Man,
I know you
um,
like spreadsheets. Holy cow, you like spreadsheets, and you're good at them.
I know. Well, then let's just pick the low hanging fruit. I have been told unlimited spreadsheets for me, and I'm taking advantage of that daily. And no, it's. I think I think probably one of the. Well, I'll tell you the two things. Our people are the best group of people, top to bottom, I've worked
Yeah,
with
yeah, we
in
got
my
good
career.
folks.
That's that right there is probably the best thing. And then this is the only place I've worked that the corporate values are really corporate values. They're not just cool things that people brainstormed in a conference room and stuck on a wall. I've told this to plenty of people, and I could have been here a month, never heard the corporate values, and I might not have gotten them word for word after a month, but I could have told you what they were. I could have paraphrased them pretty dang close. So I think those are probably just that every day I come to work and it's not, I mean, it's work, right? It's otherwise they'd call it golf or something. But every day I come to work and there's value to what I do, right? There's value to the people I work with. There's value to the people that we work for, the clients and the agents. There's value, and we provide something based on our values. So it's fulfilling. I guess
Yeah.
that sounds kind of weird, but it's fulfilling to come to work and be a part of that and help move that forward. That's probably my
All
favorite part of
right.
the job.
Okay. Cool. Um, well, dude, you've been great to work with. That's for sure. We have enjoyed it. We've benefited a ton. I think we both need to wrap this up and go make the shareholders some money, right?
Yeah, that's always there. That is always there. You can't nap
Most
every day.
days. Most days you can. Thanks, man. I have
Cool.
enjoyed it. I appreciate you carving out the time to help me get this interview done, get the podcast done, and I'll look forward to next time.
Listen, anytime. I appreciate it. I enjoy it. It's an interesting thing for me, not something I do very often. So
Perfect.
it's fun. Thank you.
See you, man. Thanks.